after Prudence and I met online, I showed her the initial my first attempt I did a few years ago after I'd parked it for a while. And then I thought, actually, I am going to try again. I am going to try again. And so I, from something this big, Mosiah's come and left again, I made this,
What's wrong?
right? So, and it's to cover a leather footstool that we bought for my husband's birthday. The dog keeps jumping on it, and I didn't want her to scratch it. And we had this donkey bag I brought back from Iran, and it keeps slipping. So I thought if I tailor make something for it, I don't know if you guys can see it. We keep Debbie keeps coming and going. So that's going to be the last of it. So I thought if I get some jean material, I don't know if you guys can see this, to make it like stretchy jean, to make it fit the footstool, then it's not going to fall off anymore. And I'm an exhorter, so I like things to mix and match. I like stuff to be colorful. And there's a Persian carpet underneath it. So I was choosing colors to go with it. But what I managed to do, bits of it are sticking up. So I showed it to Prudence and I said, how can I like do this better so we don't get the bubbles if we're mixing and matching yarn? So Prudence started telling me how not to do it. So Prudence, over to you. How can you give us tips so that we don't end up in this kind of a mess where bits of it are, sitting up?
Oh, okay, very fine then. That's okay. Um, the reason why sometimes the crochet pieces that we make are not in the right length, are not in the right width as per how we want it to be. Sometimes it's because we have mixed up hooks. I'm not sure if you mixed your hooks. With crochet, it comes with different hook sizes and then different yarns. Some people call them thread sizes. We have the bigger strands, we have the smaller strands. And then we also have the hard textures and the soft textures. It's just different varieties, just like we can have cotton cloths, and then we have nylon, we have khaki, there's just a variety. So if you mix a cotton, Zara, you're wearing a jacket. If we mixed a jacket material and a cotton material, and then we brought a leather material, you'll see that there's a variation and they can never be on the same length. So if you are working on a piece, a crochet project like the footstool that you're working on, and then you mixed up different strands, definitely there's going to be a problem. No matter how much you try to make it equal, it will never be equal. So the question goes to whoever is here. I know a few people here that are crafters. If you're a crafter and then you want your piece to be very well streamlined, make sure you're using the right hook size. You're not mixing hook sizes. Of course, sometimes we mix hook sizes, but you mix it at the point when you know this is the outcome that I want. For example, if I want a bigger piece of a bigger flower, and I'm maybe trying to crochet the footstool, definitely I might have to change, for example, from a hook size of 3.0 to like 5.0 because I need a bigger flower. It is because I have decided so. But for Zahra's case, Zahra, did you use the same hook sizes?
No, I didn't use the same hook sizes. And then the other mistake I think I made was just following on. So like say I made this piece, this is my third attempt now of doing this. So say you make a piece like this, like I was carrying on with it. Yeah. I was just like picking up there and then mixing the yarns and then picking another hook that I thought would go with it, maybe slightly smaller or slightly bigger. And so like this is really soft.
Okay.
Right? It's almost got a lot more give to it, whereas this is really harsh. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not, and it's a bit more coarser to feel. So this is what I thought I was going to do next, like separate them instead of like carrying on from here and just changing the yarn, like doing it separately and then like maybe sewing it on. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
But
I was
also, as
thinking,
you
would that work better if I like sewed it on then, or do you think that's going to bubble again? I don't know.
like I said, if you're going to mix up, at least you now know that this is a different material, it's a different texture. and this is also a different texture, definitely there's going to be a variation, and then you accept that. But if you're going to work on something that is straight, then you know for sure I do not have to mix textures, I do not have to mix. But if you know that, oh, this is going to be the outcome, then you can mix that. For example, I'm just going to show you, this is a bag that I made. You guys can see this?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a bag that I made. I used a different hook size for the bag.
Yeah.
And then when I came to the handle, I also used a different hook size. And then when I went to the flower on the bag, that was a different hook size because I know, okay, this is not going to affect the bag. But everything else that I used here, I had to use the same hook size. I had to use the same strand, the same yarn. This is it's called a macrame for the crafters here who know macrame. It's a hard one that's good for bags. But of course, you can use different yarn. This is a very soft piece of yarn, and when you look at the strand from the macrame, it is really hard. So I cannot mix this and this. That will never happen. It will never happen. Yeah. So the reason you didn't have the outcome that you wanted, there was an issue of mixing up hook yarns when you didn't intend to. And then also mixing up the different materials when you didn't want to. Hooks come in different sizes, at least as crafters, we know that. Yeah, so I mean, for everyone else who has been making pieces and then they're overlapping over there, they have to ask yourself, am I using the same hook size? And then also at the edge, if I am making, sorry, I don't have something straight, like, Zahra, help me just lift what you just, one of the pieces that you, I see that. So usually just leave it up there. Leave it up there. Sorry. Yeah, usually when you have gone over your rows and then you reach at the very edge, you'll find that instead of using, if you have used, for example, 10, let's assume Zahra's width is 20, maybe double, these are single crochets. These are single crochets.
Yeah.
It's single crochet. If Zara has used single crochet, I think 20 of them. And then on the second row, she uses maybe, Zara, you cannot put it down. And then on the second row, she uses about, if she uses 15 at the first, and then she uses 20 as she goes, you realize that there is a problem. So if you failed mathematics, if you aren't so good at math, then here is where we get it wrong. Make sure you know the number of stitches or there must be consistency. If there's no consistency, definitely you're going to have rubbed edges. They won't be straight. Yeah, I think that answers it.